Good morning, Madam Chair, Supervisor, and Mr. Huckelberry. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on behalf of the Pima County Deputy Sheriff Association and the Fraternal Order of Police. My name is Antonio Lopez, and I'm an employee for the Pima County Sheriff's Department for approximately 14 and a half years. Today I want to speak specifically about my situation. I'm a father of two intelligent and talented girls. My first daughter, Cassandra Lopez, who is a successful gymnast, had a talent and a dream to become an Olympic gymnast. However, due to my economic situation, I could not give the opportunity to realize her dream, even with two incomes. She's currently away in a college at the University of Utah, and even though she's in the scholarship, I still have to cover a lot of her expenses. My youngest one, Emily Lopez, is also a very talented tennis player who just recently won 5th place at the state competition for the M5 Theater High School. Again, I'm afraid that if I don't do something different, her dreams to become a professional tennis player will not become reality. Throughout my career with the Sheriff's Department, I have gained several trainings and certifications in order to become a better asset for the department. All the certifications and trainings will be a benefit for other agencies and a loss for the Sheriff's Department. Based on what I have been hearing from other deputies and detectives, many are in similar situations and are thinking of applying with other agencies. I've been working for the Pima County Sheriff's Department for over 14 years, and I work with some outstanding deputies and detectives. I don't want to leave. I love being a cop, but I've been trying to survive, and I live paycheck by paycheck. Seeing my kids growing up and not being able to provide them with the resources to realize their dreams is frustrating and heartbreaking. After 14 years, I had made my decision to apply for another agency, and I'm currently in the process of being hired. Most of the people here are in similar situations, and they are in need of your help. Not giving them the raise that they were promised will force them to reach out to provide a better life for their families. I hope you guys made the right decision in order to prevent others from leaving. Again, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Jesus Davila?
Good morning, Madam Speaker, Supervisor, and Mr. Huckelberry. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on behalf of the Pima County Sheriff's Department Association and the Fraternal Order of Police. I was asked to come today by my partners from work and speak a little bit about what happened with me. On August 3rd, 2013, I was placed in a situation with my job where the lives of Pima County residents were at risk. We were being threatened by an individual with a gun. I had to put my life at risk, not only just for the citizens that were there currently at the store, but also because it's something that I do for my family. I took on this job because I wanted to have safe streets for my kids to live on, and I felt that at that moment, I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision. In my life, I was actually 15 millimeters away from dying. I got shot. I was injured. It was very, very close to my femoral artery. Yeah. I've been told it takes 3 minutes and 30 seconds for an individual to bleed out. There wasn't a tourniquet placed on me where it needed to be placed until after 5 minutes and 10 seconds. During that moment, I realized, and I came to the decision, I was afraid. I was afraid for my life, and ultimately, the first thoughts were my family, my wife and kids. I had nothing for them. When I came on, about 8 years ago to this department, I was promised that there were going to be steps. I was prior military. I've actually been working and living with a $500 pay cut ever since I came onto this department. And it's not so much the money, it's more the quality of life. I've been away from my wife and kids, you know, more than I had to be or that I would like to be, just because I'm trying to make ends meet for them. What happened when I got injured, to me, it seemed kind of sad, was because I had to come back to work 9 days after I was injured, because I was only getting paid three quarters of my pay, which honestly, it's really hard to survive when the purchasing power of the dollar is just diminishing every year. There's other deputies that were able to supplement their income, they're able to, but during that time while I was in light duty, I wasn't able to because of, the injury. All I really wish for is to be able to provide for my family and also to be able to enjoy, time with them, the quality of time. Ultimately, it's not the money, it's the quality of time, and this is why I do it. I do it for the citizen, I do it for my family. I really do appreciate your time and for listening to me and my coworkers. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your service. Nicole Carlson. Nicole.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Supervisors, Mr. Huckelberry. My name is Nicole Rosen, and I have been employed with the Pima County Sheriff's Department since 2006. I started off as a corrections officer and have been a deputy since 2007. A large reason that I promoted to being a deputy was the benefits of pay. Signing on as a deputy, I was understanding that every year that I served with the department, I would get a static pay based upon the time of service. My initial aspirations were to retire the department, promote within, and they would be receiving my steps for the amount of time that I had devoted. I have kept at my end of the bargain, however, I have not seen any steps. I'm a single mom and have been struggling to make ends meet. I have had to contact my mother to purchase groceries at times, no, for cereal, just to feed my child. Sorry, it was hard. The cost of living has increased, however, my paycheck is not. The lack of adherence to promised pay packages has forced me to seek employment elsewhere, causing me to start at the beginning again and just work my way up to another place of employment. I am not the only deputy in this position. During the course of my employment, I've seen fellow deputies come and go, finding positions elsewhere with better pay and better benefits. The morale in the department is very low. We are serving our community in very tough times, but neither recognition nor acknowledgement of our work nor any public future decompression or pay raises. At this point, I'm utilizing my GI Bill to seek a better career. It saddens me that I no longer feel that working here can be a long-term career for me due to a lack of promised pay steps and no hope for advancement in pay. Deputies should be recognized for the work that is done. Deputy Donovan is an example of that, and compensated justly. I do not have the statistics of the turnover rate, however, I do know that it is high and morale is low. There have been no step nor raise in 8 years. Other departments surrounding Pima County have been compensated on pay issues and have room for advancement. As a deputy, we are required to have flexible schedules, work on our days off, and work odd hours of the night. This makes balancing family life very difficult, especially when I need to pay babysitter and I have no additional money to do so. This is something that I have shared with my fellow deputies, and we all have the same struggle. When I became a deputy, I never imagined that 8 years later I would be struggling financially because I've never received any type of steps. I know several deputies in the bankruptcy. I'm embarrassed to tell you that my mother buys my groceries and helps support my child. I'm 30 years old and I have to call her home to buy milk. It's embarrassing. I'm here today to share with you what my fellow deputies are experiencing, and we would appreciate anything that the board of supervisors could do to facilitate addressing the pay issue. By doing so, we can hopefully retain seasoned and experienced deputies in paying what they were promised and entitled to. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Joe Serrano.
Good morning, Madam Speaker, Supervisors, Mr. Huckelberry. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on behalf of the Pima County Deputies, Sheriff's Association, and the Fraternal Order of Police. My name is Joe Serrano. I've been a deputy with the Pima County Sheriff's Department almost 7 years now. Recently, I was in the news along with Deputy Guy for rescuing a woman from a trapped burning truck that was involved in a head-on collision on the southwest side of Tucson. When I was pulling the door of the burning truck, I felt the heat in my face and coughed as the smoke entered my lungs. I can remember thinking, please God, don't let this truck blow up. With this thought in the back of my mind, I knew that I had to do everything in my power to make sure that she did not burn alive. Unfortunately, 2 days later, she passed away. I do this job because it's rewarding. I really do like helping people who are in need. The Sheriff's Department has been a great agency to work for, and I'm thankful for all the brave men and women that I've had the privilege to work with. However, with a growing family and single income, I've been forced to live paycheck to paycheck. My fiancée is a full-time mom and a full-time student in her final year at in the NEU teaching program. I have a 13-year-old who can be a challenge at times, and a 3-year-old who's a challenge all the time. We're also expecting the last addition of the family in August. It goes without saying money is very tight in my household. I pick up off duty when I can. Sometimes it's far and few in between. I've looked into government assistance. I do qualify for WIC, and come August, when my son is born, I will also qualify for food stamps based on my income. This is not something I'd like to share, however, I feel it's important that you hear this. Due to my financial hardships, I've been looking into other potential job opportunities. This is not something I want to do, but given my current financial situation, it's still something I have to do. Thank you.
Thank you for your service. Ramon, is it Panori?
Good morning, Madam Speaker, Supervisors, Mr. Huckelberry. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on behalf of the Pima County Deputy Sheriff's Association, Fraternal Order of Police, and my wife and kids. My name is Ramona. I stand before you here today, doing the best I can to hold my head up tall, to share with you people in this room how my failing as a husband and father of 3 to provide for my household. The choices I made, because I wish to pursue the dream job, which is the best professional experience of my life, has placed my family in financial difficulty. I have been with the Sheriff's Department for over 4 years and wish to continue my career here. However, if things continue to stay the same, I will have no choice but to look towards other agencies. As it stands, I will not be able to make ends meet. In the past few years, I've had to make adjustments in our basic life. I've had to augment the disparity of my current compensation with the ever-increasing debt. My family has gone without what people look to as everyday privileges. We've eliminated cable television. My daughter cannot go to dance classes. Gym and boxing memberships for our general health and any other extras have been removed. My uniform allowance is used to pay for my child's clothing, medical bills, and groceries. My son and youngest daughter will not be afforded the opportunity of preschool, and I cannot save for a college fund for any of my children. My wife wears a $30 ring on her finger and never got the dream proposal or the honeymoon I promised her. Date nights, a thing of the past. Yet for some odd reason, she stands behind me and supports me in the pursuit of my career, while we slowly get eaten away by bills. We afford ourselves few with almost no luxuries. I've sold personal items deemed not necessary to make ends meet. I've gone as far as depleting retirements from previous employment and cashed out the last bit that I had so I could attend my sister's wedding. And it's still not enough. I've amassed over $12,000 in credit card debt in the past 4 years to keep my household intact. My daughter was injured when she fell at a bus stop and knocked out 3 of her teeth, including an adult tooth. She is 7 years old and will leave. With current hospital and future doctor bills, they will take her toll. She'll need continuous care and future dental procedures until adulthood because of the injury. My wife suffers from hyperlipidemia and has not been to the cardiologist or a doctor for 2 years for treatment. We've been lucky for years because we've had family close by in the time of need to help when it came to child care. My wife's parents would take care of the children while we both worked because it takes 2 incomes in our household to make ends meet. In April, my in-laws moved out of state. That means we must seek child care outside. And after checking with daycare facilities and child care, reality set in, we cannot afford it. My wife works full-time. She brings home $400 to $450 a week. And because her job entails a lot of driving, much of that income, $250 budgeted, goes towards cars and vehicle maintenance alone. Daycare for just 2 of my children, my 1-month-old and my soon-to-be 2-year-old, is $350 a week. The cost eclipses what our monthly mortgage is. We were only spared any further expense because luckily enough, my oldest daughter is of school age. Right now, we would be quite literally paying somebody else to raise my child and have a net loss. The only option now is for my wife to quit working, a loss of income that I alone cannot overcome. We're at a crossroads. There are no more things to sell, no more loans that I can afford to take, no more retirements to deplete, and I cannot burden others with my responsibilities to provide for my family. 1 year is what I plead with my wife. 1 more year to let things get better. I've been courted by friends from other agencies, people who've gone to the academy with me, who are doing much better off. But it's me, not my wife, not my kids. It's me who has chosen to stay. And I've stayed here because the Sheriff's Department has offered me great opportunities, and the fact that I'm now a field training officer. I've gone to tracking school, advanced interrogation, investigation, search warrants, knock and talk, radar, LiDAR certified, HGN. I have not stood idly by. I've done the best to make myself better. And I'm in line, hopefully. I'm applying for bomb squad. I've yet to see how that turned out yet. But today I stand to you, not as tall as I would have 3 or 4 years ago, embarrassed, ashamed, and at a loss. Where there's a great weight on my shoulders, a choice I must soon make or risk losing everything that we have worked so hard for. Without the implementation of adjustments to our compensation, I risk punishing my family for my loyalty and my hope that things will get better. Because I love my job. But I love my family more. I cannot ask more of them. All I wish to do is make a living. As it stands right now, that's just not happening. I need to be the husband and the father that my family deserves. Thank you very much for your time. Sorry.
Thank you. Jason Davil.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, Supervisors, Mr. Huckelberry. Thank you for the time this morning. You hear a lot of these stories of the financial burdens on our department members, and I'll let them speak for themselves. Today I'd like to bring up a couple topics that are near and dear to my heart. There's the safety of the men and women of the Pima County Sheriff's Department, along with the service provider community. We all understand the current situation financially in the last 8 years, what it's done to the nation, our community. But what people understand that there's a three-pronged effect that this has had on our department itself. First, we're losing our highly trained, our highly skilled, and our highly experienced officers. They found that they're not able to provide for themselves or their families and have had to look elsewhere for this financial compensation. They've looked locally at other law enforcement agencies, they've looked within the state, and they've also looked nationally. There's been an inability to hire new deputies. A perfect example of this is our current scheduled academy class. It was originally slated for 50 new officers. That has been whittled down to 15. This number is not enough to compensate for the amount of officers we're losing in our department. There's also been a drop in our annual training. For most of my 16 and a half years, the department has provided 5 annual training sessions a year per officer. This has now been recently dropped to 3, and has been rumored to possibly drop to 2. One of the main reasons given to why they're dropping the training is because there's not enough officers on the street to meet minimum staffing. With this, they're not allowing other officers to leave the street to attend the needed training. What does this all mean? With a large amount of our highly skilled, highly educated, and tenured officers leaving, we're practically giving our training and experience away to other agencies, be it the local agencies or national agencies. And we had one officer that left the state to Austin PD for financial stability. He has since reported back to us that he's a head and shoulders above comparable officers per year that he's dealing with because of the training and experience he received at the Sheriff's Department. Let's go back to the 5 annual training sessions that we provided. This in itself was extraordinary. There are not a lot of law enforcement agencies within the country that provide their officers this amount of training. Generally, officers are brought to the range, they're allowed to shoot, and they have to leave. They might get another training session after that, if they're lucky. We give a lot of training to our officers, which we're losing. With the trend of losing officers, we are losing the ability for officers to assist each other in the streets, handle calls for service for the department, and do on-site enforcement. Also, we are unable to replenish these staff members, which means that we have less officers to back up each other in the street when needed. With this decrease in annual training, we are also taking away the tools and knowledge that each of our officers need to be able to make split-second decisions in hectic times that need to be made correctly and accurately at that moment. What this has done is place our deputies in situations that can get them hurt and possibly killed, failing this community and their families. We've also diminished our ability to provide for this community and give them the service that they've been accustomed to, and frankly, the service I believe they deserve. You've heard several examples of this, but I'd like to bring another one. Deputy Chance Kennedy. He was hired on in 2007. He's a military veteran that decided to join our department because of his reputation of being a premier law enforcement agency, not only just within this region, but mainly in the country. He currently works patrol and is also a 5-year SWAT member of the Pima Regional Training Center, SWAT team. He's a field training officer, a firearms instructor, a DT physical instructor, a high-risk stop instructor, and has been assisting international visitors with training to cope with human sex trafficking. This is high training that not a lot of officers get. And Chance Kennedy at this point feels the need to apply with other agencies. At this time, he's currently second on the list for Oro Valley Police Department. And depending on their hiring rate, he could be gone within a couple of months. Another tenured officer who is highly trained, highly skilled, that we are giving our training away to another agency for. In closing, Madam Speaker, members of the board, Mr. Huckelberry, I implore you to think about the safety of the officers of Pima County and the ability that we need to have to serve the members of this community when you make your decision on our budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rosalie Petty.
Good morning, Chair, Supervisors. Good morning, Madam Chair, Supervisors, and Mr. Huckelberry. I'm speaking on behalf of Pima County Sheriff's Department, Fraternal Order of Police Officers. I've been employed with the Pima County Sheriff's Department since April of 2008. I have a little over 7.5 years. Because of our current financial situation, with my family, I've been forced to apply with other agencies. I'm married, I have 3 children. My husband is a teacher. I have an 8-year-old son, Keegan. I'm sorry. A 5-year-old son, Mason, and a 4-year-old Sophia. Sorry.
Thank you for your service. Kathleen